good morning, good afternoon, and a very good evening to all our viewers, depending on whichever part of the world you are in right now. I am Abhinav Dalia from Statusbrew, and today in this webinar, the topic we are going to talk about is create once and let Statusbrew promote it for you. This is one of my favorite topics to talk about as it goes over how to be most efficient and effective and get the most mileage out of your social updates. So, our goal is to help you get everything you can from each piece of content that you create. As we learned in the last webinar, maybe a little recap into the last webinar, that evergreen content is one of the most important parts of a solid content strategy. That is, creating content that will last, so content that necessarily isn't tied to a fad or a trend, and that'll be as meaningful as if someone reads it in a year from now or as they read it today. It's an extremely powerful tool for building traffic to your page. So as we go through this webinar, keep in mind too that when adding these type of updates and this type of evergreen content to Statusbrew, you will always want to think about how to cross promote and not just cross post these updates. So the difference here is thinking about how to tailor an update for one social network over the others. And this can be creating different captions for a new blog post on Facebook or a new one for Twitter using hashtags that are more specific to that network. And this really helps you speak the language of each social platform. For example, you wouldn't want to post like a really heavy text post on Instagram, or maybe a job listing is better suited for LinkedIn than on Facebook. So just something to keep in mind as we go through this webinar. So let's jump right in and chat a little bit about how mastering the art of writing evergreen posts and repeating these on social media is really the key to increase your reach, your engagement, your traffic, leads, and eventually sales. Actually, it's just a lot more valuable once you have actually created that content. Repeating these posts on social media is so powerful. Now, some of you might be asking, why would I want to share content more than once? And that's a valid question. For some people, they don't really see a point in sharing stuff more than one time on social media. But I want you to just think about this for a second. What happens if someone sees a post that you have already posted, whether it's on Facebook or Twitter or wherever? And I'm going to tell you the answer. Nothing happens most of the time. And that is simply because you see everything that you post on social media, but not everyone else does. For example, on Facebook right now, the average reach of a post is usually between like 6% and 7% of your total number of followers. So every time you post something on your Facebook, you are going to see in your Facebook, on your timeline for your Facebook page. But the average follower of that page isn't going to see every single thing that you post, because most people, they just see what comes up in their news feed. They don't necessarily go to any particular Facebook page to see what's going on. I mean, a few people do, but mostly people don't. The same is for Twitter. The lifespan of a tweet is very short. It's less than half an hour. So once you share something on Twitter, within 25 minutes, essentially nobody's going to see it anymore. So if you go to your Twitter profile, yes, you will be able to see all the tweets that you have posted. But most of the people don't go to specific Twitter profiles to see what they have posted in the last week or so. They just see things that come up in their Twitter feed. So even though you know everything that you have posted, your audience doesn't. So if you repeat something within a certain amount of time, see, I'm not saying that you should be tweeting the same thing like every 10 minutes because yes, that would get annoying. But you can certainly repeat things on social media, and that really is where evergreen content comes in. You know, another way to think about this for your promotion is it's kind of like an ice cream truck that circles the block that's always going through the same neighborhood. But sometimes it's the first time someone might buy, some people might buy the second time around, depending on what you're selling, and some people might buy every time. So don't be afraid to share those kind of different contents with your audience. Another example, let's say if I'm going to send an inspirational quote every Monday or some social media data point every Friday, I can schedule all these posts all at once with just one click with Statusbrew. You can also build a certain degree of loyalty among your followers on social media. They are going to know what to expect and they are going to rely on these great updates. And with Statusbrew, you can accomplish this very easily with a single click. Again, it's just a really great way to build consistency into your automation and make sure that you're getting most out of this, even with these simple updates. The last thing I want you to think about is, when we're talking about repeating content, is that if a post gets a lot of engagement and shares for the first time around, chances are the next time you share it, it's still going to do really well. It's just another kind of argument. If you have stuff that does really well on social, it just kind of makes sense to share it again. I would say majority of the time, the stuff that continues to do well on social media is going to be that evergreen content. Evergreen content can also refer to links to your social media accounts. Just like with our tweet about trying to send people to our blog, your social media accounts are something that are also probably going to be around for quite a while. So on Facebook, you might want to promote your Twitter account or your Instagram feed, or maybe you have a board on Pinterest that does really well and vice versa. So on Twitter, you might want to tell people to head over to Facebook because maybe you post different content there. So even links to social media can be considered evergreen. Now, the key to dealing with evergreen content is how you organize it. So a big thing that we believe in here at Statusbrew is that you don't want to let that evergreen content go to waste. And what do we mean by that? It's basically that normally when you are doing social media in real time, you are just writing updates as you need them. So you are writing a Facebook post, you are writing a tweet, you are putting a photo in Instagram, or whatever it is. You post it and then it's gone. So even if it is evergreen content, even if it's a link to a blog post that is really awesome and you would want to share it again, you still have to rewrite it next time you want to share it. But Statusbrew solves this hassle for you. Now let's go to the Statusbrew app and see how we can do that. If you open Statusbrew app, you will see a Statusbrew dashboard. On the Statusbrew dashboard, click on the composer icon just below the Statusbrew logo and choose the CSV upload option. On clicking the CSV upload option, you will see this window. This window will ask you to upload the CSV file. So let's create our own CSV file. To create your own CSV, you may use Google Sheets or Microsoft Excel if you're working on Windows. If you go to Google Sheets, to create the CSV file, we'll need just 3 columns. In the first column, you would want to add time and date for the post. For example, if you want to add time for a post scheduled for 10 AM on June 20th, 2019, you will need to enter it like 06, 20, 19 and 10. The second column will include the text of your post. This can also include the URL to any blog or video links or discount coupons or anything else. The third column is for the URL of the images that you wish to publish with your post. Please note that these image URLs must be publicly accessible. In case you don't have a publicly accessible URL of the image, you can create it via popular services like Flickr or PhotoBucket. For Instagram posts, the image URL column is mandatory. In this case, let's create a weekly Facebook post asking our followers to follow our blog. I'll add 4 different types of captions for all different types of posts. In this case, I am scheduling the post every week for the next 4 weeks. Once we have filled the content in the CSV file, you need to save the file in .csv format or download as CSV file if you are using Google Sheets. On this window, select the profile that you want to schedule the CSV for. Now choose the CSV file that you want to upload. If you wish to shorten the URL that you have added to your post content, activate the link shortener. We recommend using this feature as shortening a URL will help you manage and track the reach of your content that is coming up via these shortened links. Once you are done, go back to the Statusbrew Planner dashboard. There, you can see all these posts scheduled and aligned in the calendar. You may click on any post and review them anytime you want to. You can also edit them later. Now let's do another case. Let's do the same thing for our Twitter handle. Here you can see in the CSV file that I have curated the captions accordingly and added hashtags for our Twitter audience. Again, download the file as CSV and then upload in the CSV upload option. Done. In the Statusbrew dashboard, you can see all these Twitter posts scheduled along with the Facebook posts that we scheduled in the last file. You can click on any of these posts, update them, review them, or edit them. In this way, Statusbrew allows you to schedule your post well ahead of time and even repeat them without even writing the post again and again. That's all for today. In the next webinar, we'll talk about social media demographics. In order to understand which platforms make the most sense for which type of content, it is very essential to understand its audience. So we will try to understand our social audience in our next webinar. So stay tuned. Thank you.